This week on episode 69 of the Odd Dad Out podcast, I'm back, and I realize it's been a month, but I swear I've got a good reason. This week, my wife will actually be joining me for a bit to share in some of the fun that was our vacation, and doing her part to make fun of some of the news stories, because I've got news from Texas, and I've got some other fun stuff to go on about. So, without further ado, let's get going.
Beginning Odd Dad Out podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Odd Dad Out podcast, where normal is not my specialty. And this week we're back in the good old crossover territory, because after like months and months, I finally got my wife ReAnna back behind the mic.
He dragged me here against my will. If you're listening to this, no, hi everybody, I'm fine.
But this is the show where today we share kind of our twisted view of stuff and and family stories and what's going on, and I make fun of weird news shit for your entertainment.
Am I getting paid to be here?
I'm not.
I should.
If I had money, sure. Okay. We can put it right out of our bank account, right back into our bank account.
Okay. You owe me a puppy.
But all of that aside, thank you for coming on the show this week, dear.
Yay! Hello.
It's been
a long time.
It's been a long time. I am now a month. It's actually been a month since the last show. And in case you missed the little update thingy I threw up, because I threw up, sorry.
You okay? Do you need something?
I threw up an update. Yep.
Sounds painful.
I know. A weekend update. But, basically right off we came off our vacation, our computer died. Or more specifically, my computer died, which was, kind of the heart of the show, and it limited my ability to produce the show. And then we get the whole, our now 2-year-old is...
Oh my god, he's 2!
Yes, he is 2 as of yesterday. But he is mobile, basically.
He's very mobile.
He's very mobile. So I went from having a child that was easily restrainable to one that stands outside the door while I'm recording, banging on the door and screaming at me, which makes it really hard to record. So,
understandably. Yeah.
So, between dead computers, waiting on new computers, and...
You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you, dear. And screaming children, it's been difficult to record. But I am back, and I've got tons of new stories and tons of old stories, and the age of stuff that's coming up this week is kind of all over the place, because some of them I just couldn't let go. And since she's been chiming in anyway, care to introduce yourself to the other side of the audience, dear?
Hi, everybody. I'm the wife.
I'm just going to say, you did volunteer to be on the show.
I'm 4'10" and a half. I like long walks on the beach.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. I love when people leave me the fuck alone. That's like my favorite.
Yeah.
An interesting fact about myself is... Actually, I do have one.
You have one.
In 2010, I held several world champion spots on Mario Kart for the Wii.
Way back in the day.
Yep. I sure did. Like actual world champion spots.
Yep.
Like legit.
Yep.
Fight me.
But, yeah. So, I guess it's been about a month since the last show, and So I intended, and I'd said at the time that, oh yeah, I'm taking a week off. We're going on our family vacation. And like I said, blue screen of death and kids and rowdiness. And here we are a month later. But
I will say though, that vacation, I feel like I need a vacation after the vacation.
It was fun though.
The kids had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. There's always, drama and stress and everything on every vacation. But, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this year the drama was a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Because it happened in front of the boys, which was not cool.
Yeah.
But, like I said, the boys had fun, and that's what matters. I'm just stressed out by everything.
Yeah, but as you say, stress is your security blanket.
It really is. If I don't have something to stress about, I stress about it. Like
you stress about not having something to stress about.
It's
kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Called anxiety.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing. But yeah, so actually the stress of vacation for me started the day before vacation because I got a lovely phone call from the boys' school saying that, we know the principal left. Yeah. And there was that shakeup that nobody knew was coming and nobody knows why it happened.
Year. Yeah, like end of last year, we just don't even know officially if she was fired or if she quit or what exactly
I have no clue.
Real went down, but
I have no clue. All I know is that we got a letter in the mail saying that she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But I got a call the Friday before we leave for vacation. Mind you, this is in the middle of July. Saying that, our one Montessori certified teacher has decided to leave. No. And we can't find another Montessori certified teacher that is also state certified because we are a public school. Yeah. Teachers have to be state certified. And because we want to be Montessori, we would like them to be Montessori certified as well. We couldn't find anybody that was both, so we just hired state. So we're not going to be a Montessori anymore. Yeah. And I was like, well, let me put it to you this way. You're now telling me that you are no longer Montessori, which was the number one reason why we were going there. Yeah. Number two reason why we were there was because of the principal and because of how welcome she made us feel, and she knew every single kid by name and their parents and their siblings, even if they weren't in the school. And their Montessori kindergarten teacher was a saint.
Yes.
So you're telling me that my three reasons for being at that school are gone. Well, so are we.
Yeah.
And that started this whole saga
to find another school.
Yeah. So there's a very, very, very well-renowned school, charter school in our area that has done amazing on all performance standards. They are highly ranked in pretty much every category.
State from recognized and all these fun things.
Yeah, from academics to best place to work. It's got everything. Yeah. And so it's a really, really, really good school. What I really like about it is that kinder through 8th grade are all on the same campus.
Yeah.
So the boys would all be together. Everything would be amazing.
Yeah.
Here's the catch. It's basically like applying to Harvard. This is like an Ivy League fucking charter school. Seriously, you have to submit an intent form for each kid, basically just saying that, hey, we're interested. Once they look at that and say, okay, well, you're eligible to apply, then you can apply. After you apply, you still have to be accepted.
Yeah.
Or waitlisted.
Yep.
So here's what we're dealing with. One kid got accepted. One kid is still waitlisted. School started today.
Yep.
So Charlie is still going to the old school that is no longer Montessori. Damien is going to the new amazing school that we love. And yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah.
And of course, arrival and dismissal times are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. They are nowhere near each other. The schools are 10 minutes apart.
Yep.
It's just
a lot more headache.
It's a mess.
And we're really hoping that Charlie ends up at the new school soon.
Within the first few weeks.
Because it's, it's a headache, but we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, we'll give it a few weeks and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And that's all we can do. We know that ultimately we want all the boys in this school. So if Charlie doesn't get in this year, then he'll get in next year.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just a matter of getting them all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so today was Damien's first day of school.
And you cried.
I did not.
You did.
Well, I did a little
You
when I
cried.
walked out of the classroom.
Yeah. You didn't cry in front of him.
No, I was good.
You cried at home.
No, I didn't.
And then, like, every little paper that his teacher has sent home has made you cry.
My God, because the woman writes these, like, little poems on everything that's like, your son is no longer with you. He's with me. And you're sad. And I'm like, fuck you, bitch. Like, I know I am. You don't gotta point it out. Like,
In poem form.
in poem form. Like, enough. Calm down with the verse.
But she's managed to make you cry 3 times.
And I've only met her twice.
Yeah.
God. No, but I like her. She's really sweet.
Yeah, she seems really sweet. I have not met her. I just saw the really bubbly, happy person that was...
She's very, very bubbly. Very bubbly.
Yeah.
But she's sweet. I like her. She's funny. She's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah. So I like her. You know, I haven't had a chance to warn her about Damien, but I have a feeling that she'll find out on her own.
Yeah.
Or he'll be completely different at school. And
yeah, much like Charlie. Charlie is like a saint, and he's one of the most popular kids in his school. Here, we want to, upside his head every day. Yeah, he's kind of a bully to his brothers, and you usually want to go upside his head for mouthing off. So it's kind of, hey, you're a different person.
He's not so popular here.
He's not so popular here. School's fun.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's our latest drama.
Yeah.
But going back to vacation, I had to do all of this intent to enroll application, find all of their documents. While I'm not even home to find their documents, I had to have our house sitter, who is our sister.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law, your
sister. Yeah, like my sister's, we are in Texas, like in hotels, and we're asking my sister, hey, here's the keys to our lockbox. Like, here's where the box is.
This is where we keep them.
Here's where the box is.
And here's where the box is. Can you take a picture of these certain documents?
Yeah.
And send it to my phone so that I can upload it to their website so I can submit these stupid applications. It was a mess, y'all. Oh my gosh.
But we got it done, and he got in.
Damien got in. Charlie got waitlisted.
Charlie got waitlisted. But it got done. But yeah, I mean, all that craziness.
And I do want to clarify. He got waitlisted because of the amount of enrollment this year. He didn't get waitlisted for like academics or anything like that. Yeah,
it's not like, because you said Harvard, and we're like, oh, he wasn't good enough to get in. It's like, it's kind of a first come, state law is first come, first serve.
Right.
And there were just not in, and they do have, that school has a classroom cap.
They're allowed to because they're a charter school.
Yeah. And
they can set their own cap. And their cap is at 24. And they have 3 third grade classes. And all 3 of them are at capacity.
Yeah. So until we need to get, 3 kids to drop out of school in the 3rd grade. It's like, hey, kids drop out of school every year. 3rd graders can drop out of school too.
He's 3rd on the wait list.
Or whatever.
But so we need 3 kids, 1 in each class. That's all we need.
Yep.
Such bad influences. I don't care.
We're just wishing for people to move out of this school. We just need 3 people to move out of this school so that ours can go in there. That's all we need.
That's all we need.
But yeah.
Speaking of Texas, you said you had some fun Texas news.
I have some Texas news.
Hit me with one.
And I want to start with actually the story that happened while we were on vacation, where we were on vacation. Because as old as this is, because this happened at the beginning of July while we were in Corpus Christi, there was the story that came out about the ATM technician that got locked inside the ATM while he was working on it.
Now, imagine you're going to the ATM and you need to get cash for, I don't know, let's say you're having a shopping spree, so you're going to go get $40.
I was going to say drugs, because what do you need cash for nowadays? But whatever.
Whatever. You're doing what you're going to do. And you're going to go to the ATM and get cash. And with your cash and your receipt comes a little handwritten note that says, "Help me."
Help me, I'm locked in the ATM.
Do you A, think it's a joke and walk off? B, call the number that's on the piece of paper that you were handed? Or C, just do nothing? Well, apparently most people chose A. They thought it was some sort of prank or that people were playing a joke on them and didn't call the number.
Nope.
Didn't do anything. They just kind of laughed and walked off. Well, the guy was actually stuck inside the ATM and he wrote, like, "Please help. I'm stuck. Call my boss," and wrote his boss's number.
Like, my phone is in my truck. This is my boss's phone number. Please call him. Blah. It's like he was repairing the door to the ATM. And for those people who don't know how ATMs work, there's basically a little room inside the bank where they have all the access to the back, and that's how they refill the ATM and all that stuff. Well, the door was busted. He was fixing the lock. It works.
The lock works real good.
It works real good now. Or maybe it doesn't, and that was the problem, because in my
true.
experience, those doors do open from the inside. But in his case, it didn't open from the inside. And
it took him several hours to convince somebody that, no, this is legit, like, help me.
Somebody please call me.
Somebody actually called the number.
And well, they called 911, and then they're like, police show up, and he's still putting notes out, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on in there?" So
help me.
They call his boss, and they get him out, and all these things. But I'm like, really, you bunch of fucking assholes! Somebody's saying "help me," and you just are walking the hell away. Like, oh, it's a prank. How the hell did you get a "help me" note? How did several people get notes saying "help me"?
Yeah.
From the ATM with your cash.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, if you think it's a prank, you are...
Call the cops.
I think
like, something is wrong with that ATM.
Yeah, I think
Call
somebody's been fucking with the ATM, and oh shit, what if there's like somebody's...
Identity theft or something,
theft shit,
you know.
Yeah.
Call somebody. But no, most people chose A.
Yep, everyone thought, oh no, it's funny, bye. Assholes.
Is this Ashton Kutcher? Is this pranked?
Where's the cameras?
Dumbasses. We're not cynical.
No, not at all. Okay. And this, another Texas story, and this is actually much more recent. This actually came up last week. But Texas man shoots an armadillo. Because you do.
Because that's what you do in Texas.
Why the fuck would you shoot an armadillo anyway? What the fuck they do wrong to you? It's like a harmless ass animal anyway.
Yeah.
They're just a state mascot. They're a fucking useless animal.
They're just kind of dumb.
There's just kind of a thing. It turns into a ball and it rolls away. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been up close and personal with one, so.
I've only ever seen them as roadkill, so whatever.
Exactly.
But a Texas man shoots an armadillo. The bullet ricochets back and hits him in the face.
Did he die?
No, he didn't die. It hit him in the eye, and he's all right, and he's still a dumb fucker. What? It's just these are the kind of Texans.
Why are you going to shoot something that literally has armor? Like,
I know it's when they refer to armadillos as having armor, they're not dicking around. They really do. They're a tough animal to shoot. Obviously, it took the guy 3 times to shoot the thing and kill it, and it still bit him in the face to come back.
it bit me.
You'll shoot your eye out. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Haven't you seen
armadillos?
Haven't you seen A Christmas Story? You'll shoot your eye out.
People.
No, I'm sorry, Texans. I'm sorry.
Hey.
No, that shit was not going to happen here. It was not going to happen here. That is a very Texan thing to do. You know, we might be gun happy in Arizona. We're not just going to randomly shoot an armadillo. Mostly
because have them out here.
I think there is a species here, but they're just not as, we're not going to go shooting them. You might shoot a rattlesnake, but you're not going to shoot an armadillo. Probably trying to catch it. Okay. I'm going to have one, because I can't pass on a coffee story. I think it's just been established I can't pass on a coffee story. So, a specialty fancy schmancy coffee has been recalled for containing the active ingredients in Viagra.
Nice.
And I guess you could say it's
so
like...
it'll get you up and get you up?
Get you up. Yep.
Huh.
So...
Twofer.
Yep. It's like one of those like herbal, oh, we're an all natural brand and we all this fancy schmancy shit. And apparently it was actually the nature of the coffee. It was supposed to be a pick me up. It was supposed to be a sexual booster coffee. But what they found was that, which I don't understand. How the fuck do you make something that's intended to do that and not think of what in your mix is it that does it? But, so it's from Best Herbs Coffee, they voluntarily recalling their coffee after they found one of the ingredients is structurally similar to sildenafil.
Say that 5 times fast.
I can barely say it slow once. The active ingredient in Viagra. They're recalling it also because they had undeclared milk ingredients. But the coffee is marketed as a male enhancement drink. There are lots of big air quotes here. But the reason they're recalling it is because the presence of that chemical it's kind of like the reason why there's all the heart warnings on Viagra. It's like, if you have a weak heart or you're taking these kind of meds, don't take Viagra. Well, this coffee has those same ingredients. They're like, hey, don't drink.
It would have the same effects.
You're going to have these same possible side effects.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they're like, hey, if you have high blood pressure or high cholesterol or heart disease, don't drink this coffee.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Consult your doctor before.
Consult your doctor before drinking your morning coffee. And then there's the whole milk allergy thing. It's like,
yeah. That's hilarious. You know, I drove by a billboard out here the other day that said, get more starch in your noodle.
Oh, yeah. I fucking love those. I love
really?
those. There's a bunch of those.
Really?
There's another one that's got enough lead in your pencil.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're...
Wow.
Kids aren't going to get these billboards, but they're, every adult that passes them gets exactly what they're talking about. They're great.
Yeah. It's awful.
It's for that, I cannot remember the name of the place, but it's for that one, like, male health clinic that's out here. That's fucking great. I love those boards. I'm surprised you haven't seen it by now.
No, that was, because I don't pass many signs,
Okay. This is all the lighter side of the news too, so but I want to finish this segment on an uplifting story before we get into the crazy assholes.
We just have an uplifting story.
Okay, a positive story.
A happy ending?
There's a happy ending to this segment because this is about a pregnant doctor.
Oh, Lord. So we went from ED coffee to
pregnant doctor. But this is a cool story. Did her husband
have some of that ED coffee?
Pregnant doctor stops her own labor to deliver one of her patient's babies.
That seems unsafe.
So, this doctor who was, like, ready to pop, like, being induced 9 months pregnant, she's sitting there getting ready. They're like about to bring, like basically they're waiting for them to come in and induce her. She hears screaming coming from the next room. Her husband's like, wow. She like, it wasn't like a normal doctor labor. Hey, this is, what's this going on? You're in a hospital. You're in the delivery area. Women are screaming. It happens.
Yep, it does.
That's just what the delivery area.
We've had that.
That's what the delivery area of the hospital is.
Next door to you decided not to take any medication, so we're sorry.
Yeah, but you're like, something sounds off, and so they're like, hold on a second, I'm going to go check this out because she is an OB. She's an OB in that hospital, so she swings next door to find it is one of her patients who is going into labor. So she's already like in her gown. They throw a second gown over her back. Yeah. So it basically just looks like she's wearing a coat. And he's like, unless you look at the back and realize that it's a backwards hospital gown, she looked normal. But she basically grabbed some gloves, threw on a second gown, walked in there and delivered her patient's baby as opposed to actually having her own.
That just seems unsafe.
She successfully, it's her job to deliver babies.
Well, I mean, I get that, but I don't know.
So she was waiting for the IVs and to get hooked up to the monitors.
Oh, okay, so she wasn't hooked up.
Yeah, she wasn't hooked up to anything. She was waiing for them to come in to get her all
I'm
set.
imagining, like,
oh, God, no. She was...
Wheel this... Here, honey, can you just move this out of the way?
Hold on to these tubes while I...
Yeah.
Here, hold these tubes down while I reach in.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that. Yeah, they were waiting to get her hooked up.
Like, this does not...
Here, hold this bag.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how far along in the process were we here? Because it gets pretty gruesome after a minute.
Yeah. But, yeah, I just thought that was like, wow, that's a damn committed doctor. I love those kind of stories.
Good on her.
Yeah. That's yeah, the on-call doctor hadn't shown up yet, basically. They're waiting on the other doctor. He's like, shit, she's gonna pop now.
Yeah.
I'm right here. I'll do it. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah. She's like, I looked pretty normal. I don't think you could tell.
Poor thing.
And I guess she didn't even realize, like, her patient, I mean, obviously, if your doctor was pregnant. We've had that before. But, you don't realize that your doctor was giving birth down the hall when she came in to deliver your kid.
It was always funny when I went in because our nurse practitioner was pregnant at the same time that I was with Sam.
Yeah.
And it was always funny when I go in because, she was talking about when she was due, and I was like, oh, so are you going to take some time off? She's like, yeah, I really want to take this long for maternity leave, but, Dr. I won't say her name on there. But, the doctor really doesn't want me to take that long. She's like, it was a very small practice.
Yeah.
But.
And like, really, the practitioners there did so much of the work. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, when the nurse practitioner pretty much saw everybody because the doctor was doing deliveries.
Yeah.
Nurse practitioners can't do deliveries. So you pretty much, until like the very end, you would have like 1 or 2 appointments with the doctor.
Yeah.
Other than that, you typically saw the nurse practitioner, which was totally fine with me. I had a really good relationship with almost everybody in that office. There was one that I didn't like, but nah. But yeah, I was always like, oh, do you know what you're having yet? We'd always talk about her baby as opposed to, oh yeah, I'm here for mine. We're good.
We're good. I mean, we're at this point, kid number 4, it's an old hat.
Exactly.
Like, we've been through this shit.
This is baby 4. She was always, do you have any questions?
Been through this before. No. Are we done?
Can I just text you?
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to end that first bit on that happy segment just because it was a cool. Positive story to end before we get into the thick of the crazy and stupid and bullshit.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to stick around for that. Simply because it is 10:15. I do have overtime in the morning.
Well, I think you'll appreciate some of these, so I'll see if I can keep her around for the next bit of news.
You gonna pay me?
With what? There's ice cream.
Yes.
I'll pay you with ice cream.
Okay, I'll stay.
Okay. All right. We will be back after
ice cream.
With ice cream after these Podern Family promo breaks.
What is the Podern Family?
Hey, this is Shane.
That's not Shane. That's a robot set by the government.
And that's Kenny from
I'm
Now
a
That
robot too.
From Now That I'm Older.
More like Now That I'm Robots.
This is Gabriel Russo from the Hollywood Scandals of Yesteryear podcast.
This is Steve from the Drift and Ramble podcast.
This is Nick from the Epic Film Guys podcast.
This is Emily from The Story Behind.
This is Adam from Everyone Has a Podcast.
This is Sean Harrigan from the Cinescape podcast.
We are you. Podcasters coming together in a community to help one another grow. So follow us on Twitter at Podern Family and use the hashtag Podern Family in your tweets and retweet other people who do the same. Podern Family, where great podcasts come home.
Welcome to the Boondoggle Podcast. My name's Alex.
And I'm Dimitri, and here at the Boondoggle, we're a comedy podcast created by two pals with dark humor to entertain the masses.
Did you just finger guns me when you did that?
Absolutely, Alex.
Why would you do that?
Because finger guns are the most genuine way to get your point across when you're trying to say something absolutely, irrelevant and not believable.
I hate myself. Finger guns.
Finger guns.
He really meant it. This guy's for real.
He's so genuine. Look at this guy. I appreciate that honesty.
It's like, this guy, he's getting a promotion. He's like, what? Oh my god, finger guns the boss. He's like, God damn, you're my boss now.
You're my boss now.
Anyways, tune into us. You can hear us on a lot of sites. iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, anywhere pretty much. And be able to tune in every single Friday to hear what we have to say. Once again, signing off, my name's Alex.
I'm Dimitri.
And this is the Boondoggle Podcast.
Bullshit from the news.
Okay. Kicking off the weird bullshit in the news.
Now that I have ice cream.
Now that you have ice cream. Let's start with the clown. Because we were talking about this earlier today.
Fuck you, let's not.
We're gonna... You don't have to see the clown. But we were just talking earlier about the whole... The crazy clown stuff going on, late last year and last summer. And everyone's kind of, no, pay no attention to that weird clown shit. Well, a crazy clown in Maine. I guess I should just read the headline because it kind of sums up the situation.
Headlines usually do that.
Yeah. It just gives you a better scope. Machete-wielding, one-armed clown arrested for terrorizing town.
Huh.
Yep.
There's something you don't see every day.
And now, here's the twist. Because there's always a twist. The machete was duct-taped to the amputated arm.
Oh.
I'm not going to hold a machete with my good hand. That wouldn't make any sense.
Well, he couldn't do anything. Like if he's going to rob something, he wouldn't be able to because he's got a machete in his only hand. I mean, it makes sense. Checks out. I'm good with it.
So, yeah. Fucking guy. Concerned citizens called the police. Concerned citizens. And said a man dressed as a clown, armed with a machete, was...
Armed.
One-armed. Re-armed. Prosthetic armed with a machete.
Armed.
Was hanging around near the convenience store.
Did nobody else catch that joke? Because, damn, they really missed out.
So, yeah, state troopers show up. The guy runs off into the woods because, creepy clowns hang out in the woods, apparently.
That's just their
apparently
thing.
They lost him. Apparently they lost him in the woods. Like an hour later, another patrol car in the area spotted a creepy clown walking out of the woods. Why the fuck didn't you take the mask off? I'm just going to go with that. Dude.
He's only got one arm.
It's obviously his good one. The one with a hand on it is the one that's good. Or maybe lose the machete arm and the clown mask when the cops are looking for you. But no, this dumb fuck walks out of the woods, still wearing the fucking clown mask, still with a machete duct taped to his arm.
Of course.
Because, to be fair, he obviously wasn't smart enough to not walk around with a machete taped to his arm.
Right.
So, he wouldn't be smart enough to maybe take the mask off. But really?
That's fantastic. Oh, I'm going to keep that with me forever. Armed with a machete.
Is it? Oh, the armed bit. Yeah, and the witness says, whether he meant to do anything or not, it's pretty scary.
You think?
I was like, meant to do...
Pretty sure somebody that goes through the trouble of taping a machete to their amputated arm and dressing up like a crazy clown has intent to do something.
Yeah. He got charged with criminal threatening, and
That's a thing?
I guess.
Is that when you, like, threaten a criminal? Or you threaten in a criminal way?
I think it's threatening in a criminal way. He didn't actually assault anybody. He didn't rob anybody. He didn't technically hurt anybody, but he sure scared the shit out of a lot of people.
I mean, I hate clowns.
Yeah.
So I'd probably pass out. He could have been killed for murder, or he could have been booked for murder if I was there. I'd have died. Heart attack.
Yeah. I think it's manslaughter. He didn't technically intend to kill you.
You can't spell manslaughter without laughter.
And that joke works so much better when you're talking about a clown with a machete.
There you have it, folks.
That was his motivation the whole time. Fuck. Alright. Moving on. This one's kind of sad.
Okay.
Chinese family thinks their son is too handsome to be theirs.
This isn't my kid. He's too pretty. Put it back.
You're too handsome to be my son. And they were right.
Oh, no.
So basically, their son's 28 years old. So damn near 30 years. They've been being told, this couple has been told, that your boy is so handsome, are you sure he's yours?
Oh my God.
And, you know, not to be racist or anything, but when it comes to people of the Asian persuasion, they're either really good looking or just dog ugly. That's basically the two. You don't see a lot of middle of the road attractive Asians.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
I don't know. I mean, and when it comes to Asian males, either they look like, you know, businessmen or they look like girls.
Or both.
Yeah. Depends on what day of the week it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this couple has been told for their entire life, their son's entire life, oh, your son is way too good looking. And like, I guess, and they don't show the dad, they just show a picture of the son, who I honestly don't think was that good looking, but God, if he's too good looking to be their kid, how the fuck ugly are his parents?
Wow.
But they only interview the mom and son in the article because guess what? This fight actually caused them to split up. Because for so many years, there was always that question. Everybody was questioning him being their son.
Like, him being their son as in the hospital messed up, or like mom cheated?
He was under the assumption, oh, she must have cheated on me. This isn't my son. I'm not that good looking. And they keep referring to the dad not being good looking at all. It's like,
poor guy.
The dad's not here to defend himself. He's an ugly fuck. But yeah, my dad was too fucking ugly. There's no way I came from him. And so yeah, he ended up leaving her, thinking because like she never owned up to it because she never did cheat on him. They did a DNA test later because she just got tired of all of it. And like he's a grown adult, he's 28. They do a DNA test and find out not only they did a paternity test, and the paternity test came back, he's not your son. So he's like, oh fuck this shit, you've been lying to me for all these years. Bye. Well, they do another DNA test and find out he's not yours either.
Yeah. For mom. And
find out that like they have nothing to go on. All they know is he's not theirs. That they're like, he had to have been switched at the hospital, but this is China nearly 30 years ago. They don't have the records.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no records from the hospital from that time. They have no fucking way of finding out. And you feel bad for him because
there's not even any way of knowing if he was born the same day as their kid.
Yeah, theoretically, like it could, be a whole lot of fuck ups, but they're like, there's no paperwork, there's no way they can, like, short of somebody else having the same issue, like, hey, is your kid too ugly to be yours? I think we're switched. Other than that, and being able to track down that family that's got their ugly kid, I would hope with that revelation that, hey, this is just a straight up, kid switch. He's not our kid at all.
Yeah.
Maybe dad would come back and they could, work as a family to find their kid. I mean, yeah, they've raised him their entire life. He's the only parents that he's ever known and all that. But given the situation,
for all intents and purposes, he is their kid.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would want to find.
I think
their actual kid.
Yeah, I think all parties involved would want to find the actual children, kind of like that.
And the actual parents.
Yeah, the actual children and the actual parents, just so you know.
Yeah.
Just to know, because that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a lot of fucked up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to go for medical reasons, shit, you'd want to know. Because, obviously,
true.
like, you need a kidney.
It's hard not knowing your family's medical history.
Yeah.
My mom's whole side of the family, I got no freaking clue.
Yeah. But shit, you need a kidney. Your parents are nothing. Mm-hmm. They help you with zip. I just threw kidney out there. If I need a kidney, I need to look into that.
You really should.
I should look into that.
You don't even know your blood type.
I don't know my blood type. All I know is I've got one kidney. So I really should
I should have that checked out.
I should have that checked out. It's like, hey, anybody in the family, just in case I need one.
Anybody willing to donate?
Anybody?
Should really find out your blood type first.
Yeah, probably.
Just saying.
But it's kind of fucked up. But yeah. Here's the picture of the kid. He's not that good looking.
Wow.
How the fuck ugly was... Like, if he's not that good looking, how the fuck ugly were his parents?
Wow.
He's the pretty one. Goddamn. Okay. So, this week, because it's been a month, I'm doubling down on the jackass of the week. Yep. I've got a pair of them. One of them is an old story, one's a new one, but I couldn't let either one go. So, getting back to stupid dumbasses, I think I will lead off with, at a animal sanctuary, a man was mauled taunting a bear at the animal sanctuary.
Gee.
No, this was like an animal sanctuary at like a temple. So these are like sacred animals.
Yeah.
And so you
it's
would
like Arizona, they're just wandering around.
Well, this is more like, hey, it's like they're in a zoo, but it's not like they're behind a 30-foot wall, wall that's like 30 feet away and there's lots of perimeter and electrified fences and shit. This is, hey, you can reach over the wall and feed the bears and give them offerings because these are sacred animals and you're giving. Well, this dumb fuck decided he wanted to hang a bowl of rice on a string and hit the bear in the head with it and tease the bear with the fucking rice. Well, the bear grabbed the string, yanked the fucking dude down into the pen, and mauled the ever-living shit out of him. And somewhere in there, he got knocked unconscious. Yeah. And this place is run by monks. Because it's a temple. But people start screaming, people start like grabbing sticks and like trying to literally poke the bear to get him to let this guy go, just drags him further back and just mauls the shit out of him. It's like the monks and everybody, they called emergency people and whatever the theoretically Chinese version of 911 is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any more Chinese jokes because I think my last observation was offensive enough. But yeah, they distract the bear. They get this fucking guy out of there. He apparently is, last I heard, in critical condition. But, I've never seen somebody... Okay, I know I've covered one story of somebody getting mauled by a bear that didn't do something dumb first.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do something stupid to, I hate to say, deserve getting mauled by a bear. The only one I remember is the lady who... Well, no, I remember why she deserved it, because they were all being dumb. But it was a lady who got mauled by a bear during a marathon. And then you find out, oh, these dumb fucks were doing a marathon through a wildlife preserve in bear season. So all of y'all deserve to get fucking mauled by bears because you're being dumb. But
there's that one guy who was just hiking and got mauled by the same bear like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, seriously? There's that guy.
Like, he legit should not have lived.
Yeah, that dude legit should not have lived. So, props to that guy for living. But you know what, dumb fuck Chinese guy, don't hit bears with bowls of rice.
You think?
On strings. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm going to even say, if you're going to be a dumbass and hit a bear with a bowl of rice, throw it.
Make sure it's a panda. They're super chill.
They're still, they're not killer bears. Pandas aren't killer bears. I mean, they're
They'd be like, ooh, does this have food? Aw, man, it's empty. Fuck.
Yeah. Panda vegetarian bears. That doesn't even sound right. But
they're like the Californians of the bear world.
I don't know. Californians are kind of uptight nowadays. They used to be
Speaking of
chill.
Californians and being uptight, everybody wants in on a new diet craze, right? Everybody's like, ooh, we're going to go super low carb and we're going to go all organic. And now the new one is gluten-free.
Yeah, everyone's all gluten-free.
Everybody's gluten-free. Even though nobody really needs to be gluten-free unless you have celiacs.
Yeah. It's actually bad for you unless you have celiacs or like some sort of like actual medical like gluten problem.
Yep. So, I am one of those people. Yay. I don't have celiacs, but apparently with my thyroid medication, I have developed an intolerance to gluten.
Yeah.
Or, I should say, gluten. I have a more pronounced reaction to gluten than I used to before because it never really agreed with me that well before.
Yeah.
I still ate it because I fucking love bread.
Yep.
But, so now I'm gluten-free.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit I can still eat.
I know.
It's kind of fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I miss bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot.
Eating gluten-free is expensive in some respects.
In some, yes,
if you're just cutting shit out, then it's all right. But if you're trying to eat normal and go gluten-free, then yeah, you're going to spend like 3 times as much.
Yeah.
That gluten-free Bisquick
if you're trying to have
stupid.
if you're trying to have like gluten-free Bisquick or pizza and you have to like you have to get the flour and
yeah, that shit just gets ludicrous.
Yeah, it's insane. But a lot of Mexican food, y'all.
Yeah.
It's gluten-free.
Eat authentic Mexican. It's gluten-free. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Your corn tortillas and all your meats, authentic Mexican is gluten-free. Don't worry about it. Don't even ask.
Just don't eat the flour.
Don't eat the flour tortillas and you're fine. The tortillas.
The
whatever.
tortillas.
Okay. Sidebar over. All right. And I'm sure you're going to cringe at this, but my other jackass this week: women stranded on river for 6 hours because they thought it ran in a circle.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
because they're fucking dumb. They're like rafting a river. They're like doing what like the Salt River or in Texas, the Guadalupe.
The river.
The river. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them here in Texas. There's like 2.
There's 1.
But there's one that you raft in. But yeah.
There's the river and there's the lake.
Yeah. But you go tubing down the river. Mm-hmm. They were going tubing down the river. Mm-hmm. And I guess they were so dumb that the guy at the start getting them all set up in their tubes was like, oh yeah, it's just a big circle. You'll just come right back around. And they fucking believed him. These bitches rode 6 hours downriver.
Wow.
Like, I don't think this is getting back to the start. Never mind the fact that there were other people in the river. Got out. And started walking. They just fucking kept going. Wow. To the point where, like, again, 6 hours later, they're downstream. They've finally stopped, gotten out. Like, I don't think this is going to get back to start. They ended up having to camp overnight in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
And I suppose it was kind of cold where they were. I think it's in Missouri. Michigan. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that would get cold.
It's going to be kind of cold.
Especially because I imagine they're in bikinis.
Yeah.
With nothing with them because they're tubing the river.
Yeah. They're Yeah, for all intents and purposes, not prepared for camping.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Here's the picture of them, but they ended up stuck overnight and then in the morning after, freezing morning, having to, basically hike back up like a bunch of fucking idiots. And they get checked out with, EMTs or I'm sure like once the people up top are like, hey, those girls never came back last night. Maybe we should call for emergency services. They,
Yeah.
But really? 6 hours? It's going to go in a circle. This is not Fiesta, Texas.
Right.
It's not Schlitterbahn.
It's not a man-made.
Yeah, this is not a concrete
lazy river.
Yeah. Like, you don't have 50 people smushed into each other in a concrete river. This is nature. Nature doesn't do that. Haven't you ever seen a map?
Apparently not.
I think you need to go back to school, take some geography, and maybe some marine biology. Learn how water works.
Water cannot go in circles, y'all.
Like if the water's going in circles, it's in a toilet. And that's how water works. Rivers don't
Unless
go
you're in
circle.
Australia, then it does something real weird. I don't even know.
Yeah. It goes the other way.
It's weird.
Water goes up in Australia because fucking Australia. You can't even explain. It's just Florida is one thing. Australia is just Australia is from Mars. That's it.
The Australians are from Mars. We've checked it out.
No, the people are from England. The fucking continent is from Mars. It's just a chunk of Mars that plopped down with a bunch of crazy giant animals that are going to kill everything.
Yep.
There are trees that kill horses in Australia. Fuck that.
And there are spiders that trap people in their houses.
Spiders that trap people in their houses for hours upon end. But that's a story for another day.
Come back next week.
Come back next week. I probably will stick it in there because why the fuck not? I'm so behind on crazy shit right now that I've kind of got a backlog of stuff I can dig into now. But
I finished my ice cream.
Oh, she finished her ice cream. Fortunately, you also finished your ice cream at the end of the news.
Yay!
So,
do you have like news music?
I need to get more newsy music. My
Newsies? Because that's like a Broadway show, and I can definitely do that for you.
I'm not doing music from Newsies. But my because you don't listen anymore. But my news music is like a
bum, 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 bum.
It's like a Morse code beep 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 beep.
That's what I just did.
No, it's like beep 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 beep.
That's what I was trying to do. I'm not very good at
You're
it.
like dun 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 dun. Morse code does not go dun 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 dun.
No, that was the second one. The first one I did was the
dun 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 dun.
Whatever.
I think that's Nightline. I think that's trademarked.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Thank you, Bruce Nolan. I was like for a second, what the fuck's his name? What the fuck's his name? Okay. Okay, dear. Well, I'm not going to make you hang around for the recommended listening this week because you are done with your ice cream and you have to go to sleep.
I do. I need to go to bed.
But thank you for joining me and seeing...
Thank you for paying me.
Paying you an ice cream that I bought this afternoon. But thank you for joining me and seeing what I do with the show now that you're not listening.
Oops.
Like you haven't listened to the show since I changed to this format.
Pretty much.
But this is the fun shit that I do. I make fun of crazy bitches that don't know how water works. But, alright. Now, we'll have one more quick break, and I will be back with this week's featured podcast, Nerds with Words.
Hi, my name's Jeremy. I've listened to podcasts for years. I've always had questions about my favorite shows or for my favorite hosts. I started a Facebook group called Podcasts We Listen To. It's a place where listeners can talk about their favorite shows and find new favorites. It's a place where podcasters can get tips on improving their shows, share their shows, and find new audiences. It's a place for all things and all genres of podcasts. That group has taught me that we all have questions about our favorite hosts. And now that group has become a show called Podcasts We Listen To. You can join me every Wednesday as I sit down with your favorite podcast hosts. You can get in questions for hosts by emailing them to podswelisten2@gmail.com, or you can tweet me at podcastswlt. And of course, you can join the Facebook group as well. I'd love for you to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite shows. See you next Wednesday.
Hey there, podcast fans. I'm Matt.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Becky.
And every Tuesday we're getting goofy and geeking out on Pre-Recorded Live.
We talk nerdy news,
movies, comics, and TV.
Video games, music, and potpourri. Wait, what? Potpourri?
Pine cones and dried wood chips and dried flowers and stuff?
No, whatever.
So I could have just said whatever?
I think that's better.
Okay, so let's say video games, music, and whatever.
So check us out online at prereclive.wix.com/podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcasting app.
Don't worry, guys. I'll let that potpourri part out.
Terrific.
Recommended listening.
Hey, this is Adam Nutter.
And this is Greg Trout. Come check out our podcast, Nerds with Words. Adam and I talk about pop culture, comedy, comic books, movies, conspiracies. We're both comedians, and we might make you laugh. Every week, we welcome a guest from the entire spectrum of pop culture and science and comedy. You can follow us on Twitter at NerdsWithWords1.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This week's featured podcast is Nerds with Words. And I gotta tell you, it's a slightly misleading name. And I only say slightly because they are in fact nerds and they are talking. But you would think a show with nerd in the title would be a lot more nerdy. Or in fact, they're much more subtle about it. And that's probably why I like it so much, because really I cannot get into those uber nerdy technical shows where they're oozing nerd to a point that they're just annoying and obnoxious. I mean, these guys are a couple of stand-up comedians who happen to be into video games and comic books and anime, but they're also a couple of middle-aged stand-up comedians. Okay, Greg is he's middle-aged, but Adam is a bit younger. But that's probably from the nerd perspective, that's what I love about it, is that they're not over the top with their nerdy. But what's funny is the nerd part of it isn't even really the point of the show. It just happens to be kind of an element of the hosts, because in reality, it's much more of an interview show, but it's not like an interview show as much as it's a conversational show. They bring on interesting people and talk to them. And sometimes the conversations go all over the place, and they'll bring somebody on and they might be talking about their specialty, or they might be talking about something in their life that's completely separate from their specialty. And one of the recent episodes, it was crazy. And I will say I was equal parts. I felt smarter and I felt dumber at the end of this episode. And here's why. It actually was with, I'm going to look up his name because I don't want to fuck up his name. But he was, Christopher J.C., I believe, was the episode. And this guy is, he's a writer and a blogger, but he kind of, his area of expertise is in romantic Satanism. And I don't mean two Satanists fall in love and raise little Satanists. I mean in romantic literature, way the fuck back in the day. and the old timey stuff and all this. And you think, what the fuck? And on a comedy show, would you find a guy? And again, this is not affiliated with like the Church of Satan and all this stuff, because all that's just started in the 60s. He actually is an expert in Satanism from the Romantic period and the Romantic period, the Renaissance, the neoclassic period, from like the back in the day, old shit, centuries old interpretations of Satanism or of Satan and all this stuff. Well, of course, because this is Nerds with Words and it's a very fluid conversation and it's just the conversation go where it goes. Somebody makes a reference to fucking Funko Pops because Adam's a huge collector of Funko Pops and they're actually sponsored by, what I feel like is probably just a local store or a local dealer that they've hooked up with because he's such a big collector and it's his big thing. But they'll make a reference to Funko Pops, or they'll make a baseball reference, and they'll go all over from talking about fucking romantic Satanism to baseball to video games, and it'll just flow completely naturally, and it's not like a forced nerdery, it's just to explain this point, you used a comparison with this nerd subject, or you compared this person or this character or this thing to somebody from a video game or a comic book or whatever, and it makes it more relatable, especially when you're talking about something from like fucking ancient history like that. But there was so much that I learned listening to this guy explain these things that I was like, oh my God, you learned so much. And like, I learned so much, but at the same time, I felt fucking dumb. I felt like just a complete idiot. Like, oh man, he's so much smarter. I'm dumb. And actually, I said as much to the guys when I sent them a message. I just flat said, like, I felt so much smarter and so dumb at the end of that episode. And they were like, me too. I could not understand half of the shit he was talking about. But one of the craziest things, again, with these fucking guys, they're really funny and they're stand-up comedians. But at the same time, Greg is like, he's an art buff. He's an art person and a history person, and he is educated. And it was crazy as they were going through, and again, because the subject matter was kind of ancient history and Satanism and all these things, he was pulling facts and shit out of his ass that I was like, what the hell? He was quoting Bible verses and pulling Bible verses out of his ass like it was nothing. But it was in context to something. It was like nothing preachy. It was just here's the reference in line with the conversation and the point in history, and here's this lesson and this thing, and here's one way this is interpreted. But it's just so crazy that's the dynamic of the show, is that it's these very natural conversations, and sometimes it's necessarily about the expertise of the subject, the guest, or sometimes it's about, Funko Pop figures. And there was another guest that came on, and I forget what the fuck he was doing, but they went on for 20 minutes talking about the value of the various Funko Pop toys that they owned and comparing the value and the collectability of their individual collections and what, like, it just goes that way. So I really dig this show. And actually, I like, because they actually reached out to me a while back complimenting me on this show. And when I listened to them, I'm like, fuck, this is awesome. I love these guys. But again, I like that they don't beat you over the head with the nerdery. It's just an element of themselves. Kind of like me in that, yeah, I've got that nerd side to me. And it doesn't always show through, but sometimes it does. I seriously, like I mentioned before with the whole break, I seriously came back from break expecting to do a post San Diego Comic-Con episode, just nerding out over all the fucking trailers and all the shit that came out of Comic-Con, but it really is kind of too late for that shit right now. But that was, me flexing my nerd for a bit. But it's cool to listen to them. And I love listening to their conversations. Because the first episode I listened to of theirs, they were talking to an archaeologist. Well, she didn't actually work as like an active, like digging archaeologist. She was actually working for a historical cemetery. Like famous, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but she actually worked for a famous historic cemetery and raising money and doing a lot of events and things with them. And like, only these guys would bring an archaeologist onto the show and not spend the entire time talking about archaeology, or bring, and they talk, but I love whoever they bring on. And it's actors, it's comedians, it's podcasters, any and everybody they could get really, from all walks of life to sit and talk to them and just have a conversation. And it's really cool because they're just having a natural conversation. And they're, I will say, Adam can, much like me, I think it's an Adam thing. He can drag the conversation off into the fucking weeds. And Greg can usually kind of, if they get too out there, Greg can kind of pull it back. But it's really funny to just hear all of the twists and turns that they make with these. It's really cool. So if you have the fraction of a nerd bone in your body, or you just like listening to cool stories from people, I highly suggest checking out Nerds with Words. And they actually just recently got their big boy, I say big boy website because I don't even have one yet. But you can find them at nerdswithwordspodcast.com. But that is going to do it for me tonight. I want to thank my wife, ReAnna, for coming on and ripping on some stuff and talking school stress with me. Because I think when it comes to the dad side of the show, I'm lacking there some days. But thank you to my wife for coming, for sharing the show with me and seeing what it is I do when she's not looking. And just remember, you can always catch up with me on Facebook and Twitter at OddDadOut. Or you could join the Facebook group, the Twisted Children of the Odd Dad Out, where I post up a lot of the stories that you could say leave on the cutting room floor. Ones that I don't get around to, or I don't think kind of fit with the flow of any given episode. And so you check that out. Again, the Twisted Children of the Odd Dad Out on Facebook. And if you want to be a little more personal, you could always just email me, oddadout@gmail.com. And remember, it's a lot easier to get every episode delivered right to you if you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, or you can even use if you're an Android user, and I will admit I'm an Android user, you can use your little Google Voice app and just say, I'm going to fuck with your phone right now. Okay, Google, play the Odd Dad Out podcast. And guess what? It'll do it. It'll pop it up right there for you. And I'm probably sure maybe some people just got pissed at me right now because I just fucked with their phone. Oh well, I'm probably going to do it every week for a while. But either way, you can search for me in the Google Play Music Store, or Stitcher, or Spreaker, or your favorite podcatcher. But the important part is subscribe to the show. If you are so inclined, leave me a 5-star review. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. And tell your friends, because you know what? You can rate and review all day, but telling your friends gets more people to listen, and that's really what I want. I want more people to share in the oddity that is this show. But I know I'm running long. It's been a while. Give me a break. I had to get back on here. I missed you too much. But until next week, maybe I'll figure out exactly how my schedule is going to work out with getting this done. But until next time, Thank you and good night.